Alright folks, here we go. We're going to have our next matchup. It's going to be a Terran versus Terran on WCS Cloud Kingdom. And, so you guys all know, I am now drinking some very nice wine that was brought back to my apartment. So, you know, I mentioned I wasn't drinking the gin and tonic I was planning on making for the games, but now I'm just drinking some wine, so you guys get to enjoy my, not drunk cast, but just wine cast. It's a wine cast. I'm drinking some wine. It's very fancy. We're all very, you know, relaxed. Roommates eating bruschetta. Looks very nice, you know, with tomatoes. So I'm sure you guys all really needed to know all of that information. It's absolutely key to your understanding of this game. On the note of this game, you know, if you're yeah. So if as a note, the game is happening, and it's another Terran versus Terran, guys. Again, with the whole mocking me for this being the matchup I don't understand or know. Like, okay, I'll say understand is wrong, because I kind of understand it. Like, I mean, I watch it and I see, like, you know, bio's good, mech's better in a straight-up fight, but bio's a lot more maneuverable. Marine tanks occasionally happens as well. And sometimes people all in. You know, it's TVT. So, like, that's the basic gist of things, right? I don't know if I need to know anything else to accurately describe the game as it's happening for your viewing pleasure or displeasure if you're not happy with the result. But, you know, it's Terran versus Terran. You know, they're both making some supply depots, both making some barracks at identical timings. Identical timings. And I'm checking my email. My Twitch thinks that I'm stopped, but I'm not. Nope, I'm actually running, right? You guys can all hear me, right? Let's see. I just want to make sure everything seems okay. Everything seems okay? I think I'd get some comments if they weren't, so I'm going to assume that they are. And I only have 8 viewers now, guys. What's up with that? I had more. I'm very sad, but I mean, I think this is a pretty exciting team war. We are, you know, 2-2. 2-2. I know, it's craziness. Yeah. So, really do. Throwing down a gas here for Jessica. I almost said Rebecca. That's someone else, another Terran who likes to go gas early. But this is to be xOJessica throwing down that refinery right here. And I remember from the last games that I played against Jessica, we played Jessica in our last team war against xO. Jessica actually raffle stumped me with a elevator timing of some sort. It was like a Marine Hellion elevator timing off one base on Whirlwind, and it just absolutely crushed my kind of greedy play. So Jessica seems to be the type of player who likes to take advantage of opponents being a little bit greedy, and we'll see. Kingdom currently is going for that 1 rack fast expand, building up that command center, starting to produce some more Marines, taking out that neutral supply depot because he just doesn't like it. He's just not a fan. And this SCV is just, you know, running around, trying to get some good scouting information. I do like that Jessica's going to aggressively take the watchtowers, and now is throwing down a reactor on that barracks. Question is it going to be followed up by what? Is it going to be followed up by a factory, by more barracks, or is it going to be followed up by a command center? And there's the command center, so it's going to be reactor marines with that command center. It's going to be able to get a lot of marines off of just that one barracks. And I mean, the thing is that Kingdom's command center is going to be finished a lot earlier, but he doesn't have yet that gas income that his opponent does, and he has not even started getting his gas at the moment, so he might be going for an extremely greedy build here. He might throw down a third, and there it is. Nope, actually I lied. There it is. I looked at the mini-map and I thought it was something else, but that's clearly not a command center. Those are 2 barracks. So I would expect to see some gas coming down from Kingdom anytime soon, unless he goes for something like those crazy 4 racks or 5 racks or 6 racks sort of Marine all-ins, which are plausible. They do happen. Jessica is, of course, now going down that factory. It's almost completed. Has started that 2nd refinery as well. We almost certainly are going to see some reactor Hellions after these Marines finish lifting off that racks. Or not. We actually might see a starport, and we might see a similar build that we saw out of Raw in the first TVT of the day, which was Core against Raw, where Raw went for that Marine Hellion aggressive play. We are seeing a Tech Cloud now, so actually, nope, might see some Banshees. Banshees. Could be a 1-1-1. Could be that. A 1-1-1, but not like the all-in kind. More like the, I built a command center first, and now I'm going to 1-1-1 against you kind. Yeah, that's a thing, guys. He does now, finally, Kingdom has taken his gases, and his tech is certainly behind that of his opponents, to be sure. So he's going to have to absolutely scout this out and play extremely safe against this build. He does have a slight economic advantage at the moment. Not significant as of yet, but it is slight. But we have tanks already underway here for Jessica, and Kingdom checks it out and doesn't. He may have scanned. I think I heard that sound of a scan, but I did not look to see what it was. We are going to have a it's going to be a medevac, a tank, and some marines. So we're going to have a really fast marine tank push here out of Jessica, off of one barracks, and one factory, and one starport without a reactor on that medevac. It's a really interesting build, I have to say, out of Jessica. I'm kind of a fan. It's going to be really difficult, actually, once that siege mode... No, actually, there's no siege mode underway, is there? Or is it already done? Nope, hasn't started siege mode yet, and throwing down a second barracks. So this is interesting. Hasn't gotten that siege mode, but does have the tank, and the tank without siege mode is still very effective against Marines. A factory is going down now, stim underway as well. It's going to be a bio play out of Kingdom this game, which could go well. It's going to be Marine tank here for Jessica, and the question is whether Kingdom actually chooses to go for the tanks himself. He is throwing down a reactor on his factory, so if he is going to eventually switch into tanks, it's not going to be for quite a while. He'll be lifting off that factory and throwing down that starport instead. So we're going to see if Kingdom's able to do any damage with this, or, well, whether or not anyone's going to be aggressive anytime soon, I'm not actually sure of. We do have a medevac drop now with a bunch of Marines, and this is unfortunate for Kingdom because a lot of his Marines are very much out of the way, and he doesn't have anything here to spot this drop. And so this medevac's going to go ahead and drop and do a lot of damage. Siege mode is almost completed. Really fast reaction time there for Kingdom. Nicely done from him. He is going to lose his engineering bay, or at least lose the SCV that was working on it. He will be forced to cancel that as well. And now we have Jessica moving out with this army as well, clearing the watchtower. Good timing there, and these Marines are doing a lot of damage. Kingdom is forced to wait for these Marines to get back, and this medevac, man, just doing so much work. Focusing down that reactor. Now this medevac could actually be in trouble. Is he going to lose the medevac? It actually looks like he might. Really nice around there from Kingdom. He manages to cut off any escape route, and so Jessica does a lot of damage. Let's see how many workers ended up being killed. Just 3, but did kill off an engineering bay, and Jessica is, you know, in fine shape. Kingdom looks like he wants to get aggressive as in response to this, but there are siege tanks right here, all sieged up and ready to go. I don't think Kingdom's going to be able to push into that. He does have his stim all finished up, I believe. Yep, that was not focused down. Combat shield has not started yet, and we do have any medevacs? I thought we had a medevac coming out. Just a single medevac out already on the field. So if it's possible that he might try to get a drop in over here, but with these 3 siege tanks, Jessica is very safe against this push from Kingdom, and Kingdom is very supply blocked right now as well. Very unfortunate for him, and he hasn't cleared this watchtower. I'm not sure why he continues to not do that, but Jessica is now ramping up the production, and Kingdom for the first time in his 3 games is looking like he might be in a little bit of trouble. His build is just, you know, it's a good build, but he's ended up a little bit supply blocked, and Jessica's build is just very, very strong, very well thought out, very safe at the moment, able to get that 3rd command center, and going to finish that up very shortly and take his 3rd with the help of the siege tanks. It's going to be invulnerable to any sort of counterattacks. It's going to come down to whether or not Kingdom is able to make some drop play work. There's 1 missile turret right here. There's no missile turrets in this line, but he does have the tanks, so those are pretty effective deterrents to any sort of Marine drops. And Kingdom is producing medevacs now as quickly as he can. These Marines do not have combat shield. It is now started. We are going to have looks like some medevac timing here from the Kingdom. He is only operating off of 3 gases right now. He has shown no signs of taking a 3rd base, so he's going to have to be very effective with this attack. These Marines are just hanging out over here, very smart, and he's going to go ahead and try to make a run around here. The timing here could be very fascinating. Jessica's looking to take his 3rd right at this moment, and there are 2 tanks moving. If he's caught out of position without his tank siege up, he could be in a lot of trouble. But if he manages to siege in time, if he sieges right now, he'll be very much safe. And there comes the siege, and Kingdom's shown his units. There's 2 siege tanks right here, and Kingdom, I don't think, has any idea. 2 siege shots actually just force this entire army to retreat. These medevacs are going to be up in a lot of... What is the word I was trying to use there? I just kind of like blurted out nothing. Those medevacs are going to be invaluable in terms of the fact that they can heal up those Marines, but that's just an obvious statement that you guys all probably knew, so I'm really glad I brought you that information. He is going to clear the watchtowers, though, and the army from Jessica is getting a little bit out of hand. A scan there shows... Let's see how much he's able to actually just see. Not very much. Just see some tanks, see some Marines being rallied as well. And if we take a look now, he is going to go ahead and try to get a really big doom drop here into the natural base. And actually, this is a great timing for this. There is only a single siege tank here, and just now is he starting a missile turret. So this is Kingdom's opportunity to do a lot of damage in return for the damage that was done with those double drops, with that single drop into his base. And he's going to drop all his Marines back here behind the mineral line, focus down the command center if he's able to, but no, it doesn't look like he will be. And he's going to go ahead and have to get out of there very shortly here. Oof. And I have to say, I don't think that did nearly as much damage as it could have. And unfortunately, one of those very full medevacs did go down, so that didn't do very much damage at all. Only managed to kill 3 workers. That was very unfortunate for Kingdom. It was a good idea, but the execution was a little bit sloppy. That one tank was able to do a lot of damage and just forced those Marines away from the retreating SCVs, and those Marines weren't able to do all that much damage. Kingdom is on the back foot, to be absolutely certain. He's finally finishing up his 3rd base, but it's so much later than Jessica's that he's definitely looking like he might be in some trouble here. He does have now his own tanks, but he does not have siege mode completed. He's producing more tanks and more barracks. His production is going to be very strong, but I just don't think he's going to have the army to deal with that as his opponent, and the upgrades are going to be equal for both players, so he doesn't even have an advantage there, and his income is vastly inferior to that of his opponent. So Kingdom definitely is starting to look like he might be in trouble, and here we have a push out now for Jessica, and Kingdom is not ready for it. He's going to have to retreat. His army is too strong, but no, if he pushes forward, there will be siege tank fire as well. This army is actually, I mean, he has a strong army, but it's mostly in siege tanks, and the siege tanks were not in position to actually deal with this unit. So Kingdom was able to engage there without losing too much of his army. Of course, many of these Marines did just get re-healed up, and he probably shouldn't be trying to hold on to this position right now. He doesn't actually have the army to do it, and siege tank fire does come down, and Jessica does retreat wisely so that he does not get dumped on. And it looks like we're going to see a big doom drop coming out now from Jessica. All of these medevacs are loaded up with what's the word? Marines? Yeah, that's the word. And so there's going to be a big Marine timing here. And Kingdom is just so active out on the map that if he doesn't scout this, if he doesn't see it coming, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's getting his 2-2 upgrades right now, but this timing could be just absolutely rough. There is going to be a drop as well, but it is spotted for Jessica. Really nice map awareness and map positioning here for Jessica. And this drop has stopped because he just has to be aware that if Kingdom does push right now, these units are all the way over here and would be unable to help, but he is going to go ahead and drop. And I think once this happens, Kingdom's going to have to make the decision, do I go ahead and try to defend my base and pull back, or should I just go for the attack and try to kill my opponent and engage in some sort of base trade shenanigans? Throwing down 2 command centers. Really, again, I like this, but this is really unfortunate timing because this Marine push is going to be very strong and he has no idea that it's coming out. So really nice play here from Jessica. These Marines are going to do tons and tons of damage. Going to force cancels on both of these. Nope, doesn't get to cancel that command center. Pulls away the command center over here as well, but it's just going to get focused down immediately. No cancel on that command center either, and in an instant, Kingdom has just lost so much stuff, and I think he's going to have to just go for it, and his opponent knows that he is sieged up here. There is one Marine that's just very aware of what's happening, and Jessica's just going to run into this base and just do so much damage. Kingdom has no option other than to push into this opponent, but wow, tons of tank fire does go down, and this army has just been reduced to nothing. And with a really, really nice play there from Jessica to get that good run around and take out all of these units, really unfortunate for Kingdom. And Jessica's looking in commanding position to take this game. Kingdom is retreating, but I don't think it's going to matter. His army will get back there, and will eventually clean up these Marines, but he's lost so many command centers. He has 1 command center to his opponent's, like, 4 command centers, and he will not have the economy he needs. And actually, this army might just kill almost all of his armies himself. And there come the Manor Mules, and Kingdom is just not in shape right now to take this game. Excuse me, that was a sip for wine, guys. Don't complain about the stopping talking. Actually, I'm pretty sure you don't mind it. Kingdom's got to do something here. I'm not sure what he could possibly do, but it is TVT. Wacky things have happened. I'm not sure this wacky though. There's about 80 supply advantage, to be fair, advantage for Jessica, and he's just going to go ahead and push across the map with his entire army. Kingdom should probably just go all in with one last ditch effort with all of his SCVs. It's like the only chance he has. But even with then, I don't think he really has enough stuff to deal with his opponent's army. His opponent's army supply is dwarfing that of Kingdom's, and the income is just vastly in Jessica's favor. So Kingdom's just looking really in a rough spot this game. Alright, so Kingdom's going to try to run around his opponent right here, try to be sneaky. Some Marines are caught by Jessica. Very unfortunate, and Jessica's going to know exactly what's happening. Those Marines were rallied over here. Definitely going to have to retreat back to that 3rd base. And let's see what happens. Those Marines do run in. The Marines run in. Will they be able to do any damage? Tank siege up. There's only 3 tanks here, and there's a whole lot of Marines right here. Now the tank fire does go down, and Jessica's losing a lot of army, but he pulls off his command center and pulls it away. It's likely going to be safe. Although if he doesn't actually pull it away in time, and the command center does fall, so that's a little bit of a win there for Kingdom, and you gotta admire him for staying in the game right now, scanning to get good vision of his opponent. Of course, the problem is that Kingdom does have this base turning into a planetary fortress at the moment, and currently Kingdom is mining off of only 2 bases of his own, and here comes what looks like it could be the final engagement, pulling off SCVs as well. There are just so many tanks right here, and Kingdom is down to 80 supply to this 160 of Jessica. And he's now retreating with these Marines, kind of hoping to meet up with this small force of Marines right here, but it just isn't going to be enough. There's not going to be enough units out on the map. And what's he going to be able to do? I don't think much of anything at the moment. So, yep, we're watching them. Stuff's happening. Tanks are being made. And we have Sentry Tower is 3-3, 13 more Marines at a time. And the Kingdom is just really in a position where that's just unwinnable. There's just no way. He's now mining off of 3 bases, which is fine. But his economy has just been stunted for so long that he has no bank. He has almost no army. His upgrades are inferior, and there are just so many tanks here that if Kingdom has to engage, he's just gonna straight up flat out die. And there are too many Marines, there are too many tanks, and Kingdom is forced to retreat. But is it gonna matter? The answer is no. Once Jessica just goes for this final push, he gets a good position there, gets a good arc, a good concave. The tanks are forcing their way down the field, and that's nicely played by him, baiting his opponent into that position. But Jessica, again, does just have such a significant army advantage, producing 10 Marines at a time for Kingdom, but it's just not enough because his opponent is producing 15 and 2 tanks at a time. And, well, the truth of the matter is that 15 Marines and 2 tanks are just going to be better than 12 Marines. And if you add that to the existing army of Jessica, well, Jessica's just going to be maxed very shortly here versus the 100 supply Kingdom. Unless Kingdom's able to pull off some miracles with some drops, which isn't very likely considering there are missile turrets everywhere, the game is probably over. Let's see, here comes a big stim up for Kingdom, and Jessica sieges up. And Kingdom runs away. We've pretty much been seeing this for the last 5 minutes, but it's alright. Jessica probably could just go ahead and A-move in and kill him. Being very careful, though, because he doesn't quite know exactly what his opponent has. It's the smart way to play. But, yeah. So, let's see. Running in. These Marines are hanging out. And now it is just pretty much pure Marine army for Kingdom. More bases are being taken by Jessica. And Kingdom's just losing. Has lost so much so far in this game. It's going to be it's really hard to imagine him coming back. And here comes a big swing around. It's going to be a big sort of pincer move here. Pincer is the word. And here comes the flank on both sides. Kingdom's retreating, making it so it can't be fighting in that flank, but it's just not going to matter. There are too many Marines, there are too many tanks. These Marines are 2-2, these Marines are 2-3. And these tanks, whenever they attack, they do so much damage. This orbital command is going to fall as well. He just doesn't even have the money. Well, he has the money to repair it. They got more man removals. And Kingdom's just fighting down to that last breath. I gotta appreciate that. He's got a lot of heart in him, but unfortunately, it looks like he's not going to be able to hold on to this game. He's down to 52 supply to the 195 of his opponent. And the base does go down. More bases being taken. Streaming Marines across the map. I'm not really sure what Jessica's waiting for. Jessica has a maxed army and could just push in against Kingdom. To be honest, Kingdom, this is like a fantasy GG timing right here. Just hanging out. No GG. Not yet. Still playing it out. Making some high-stick auto-tracking. Jessica's just getting every upgrade that he can. I haven't seen anyone get that in a while. Or at least I haven't seen the need for them to get that in a while. This army is so powerful. It's just going to be able to run in and absolutely run over Kingdom. This tank's sieging up. He's being extremely cautious right now. Leapfrogging his tanks. Doesn't really need to be, but it's nicely done nonetheless. Good micro here. Particularly, I'm curious. Yep, pretty good multitasking for both players. And Kingdom's losing his factory. The tanks are sieging up outside the natural. They're scanning. These Marines are kind of dancing. That's pretty much what's happening. Marines are dancing. 2 more command centers underway for Jessica, and Kingdom is going to have to get out of this game any second now. There's just too much stuff, and Jessica is just being very slow, very methodical about this push. A manner scan right here, what seems like scanning for any units also. Kills a barracks. Kills a barracks. Dropping up on the high ground. Jessica could probably just run up this map and it wouldn't matter. This line right here and it wouldn't matter. Kingdom has not rebuilt his base. You don't see that very often in a game like this. Everything's dying. Everything's going to die. The more Kingdom waits back here, the sadder it gets. It's like this last stand sort of thing. He just needs to get it over with. 36 supply, 200 supply. 36 supply doesn't really have a good chance of winning this game. And Jessica, on his side, is just kind of happy to contain. And this game that could have been a 20-minute TVT is turning into a 30-minute TVT just because Kingdom is destroying his own units. I'm not really sure why. Helping Jessica out, I guess. Is it going to be a race to see who kills off the last building? I'm not sure what to say about that. There are still some and the Max. Okay, so he's just gonna run away and land them over here and attack. I don't know what he's gonna do with these. He has like his entire army, his entire supply is an army. He has 30 Marines. No, he has like 28. 26. And that's the game. That was tiring. It's making me yawn.